The Forsaken Heir. Previous episodes are available on the playlist. You can also visit our website for your favorite stories. A link is provided in the video description. Episode 44. Aunt Lena next to me. When she heard that she was going to the Hyatt Hotel for dinner, she hurriedly said, "Zhongming, Auntie knows that this is your wish, but I don't need to go to the high-end Hyatt Hotel. The place is too expensive." Later, Aunt Lena said, "And you eat wherever you go. It's better to cook a table of delicious meals for you. Let's have a bite in the orphanage. This will save you children less money. You can use the little money you save to do it yourself. It's not worth it to spend so much to get the wind from me." She has been thrifty and economical all her life. She has never been to such a luxurious place. It is difficult for her to adapt to the place where she spends tens of thousands to eat. However, Zhongming smiled slightly and said, "Auntie Lena, don't say that. We are all raised by you, and now we are at the age to do something for you. Besides, I said just now, I'm not alone for the meal. I pay half, and the rest will pay the other half." After that, he saw Aunt Lena hesitate, and then persuaded, "Auntie, don't worry, this meal won't cost too much. Moreover, the Hyatt Hotel has a cooperative relationship with our company. I will have some discount after a meal is eaten, and the spread is calculated on everyone's head, and it will only be a few hundreds." When these words came out, everyone present was also relieved. If the per capita consumption is several hundred, if it is still within the range of most people, everyone will naturally relax a lot. And they feel that they can also take advantage of this opportunity to spend very little money to experience the upscale and luxury of 5-star hotels, which is very cost-effective. At this time, Aunt Lena was still a little hesitant. Zhongming looked at the time and said, "Aunt Lena, it's already past 6 o'clock. If we don't hurry, there may be nowhere to go." Aunt Lena felt that it was rare for these children to come together to visit her. If everyone didn't even finish the meal in the end, it would be really disappointing. In the end, she couldn't stand Zhongming's hospitality, so she nodded and said, "Okay, then let's go to Hyatt to eat." Zhongming was overjoyed and hurriedly said, "Aunt Lena, let's go quickly." Someone asked, "How would a dozen of us go there?" Zhongming smiled and said, "My car can take 4. Let Auntie Lena take my car, and Xiao Fen can take my car, and 2 more." As he said, he deliberately looked at Charlie, raised his eyebrows and smiled, "Charlie, do you want to ride in my car with your wife? I'll take you there. Your wife is so beautiful and you should ride in a Mercedes. You can't take her on the bus." Charlie smiled lightly and said, "Thank you for your kindness, but I also came by car." "Oh, really?" Zhongming asked exaggeratedly, "You came by car, aren't you the live-in son-in-law? How can you afford a car? What kind of car? Alto or Xiaoli?" Charlie took out the BMW car key blankly and pressed the unlock button. The BMW 760 parked on the side of the road not far away flashed a yellow light. Everyone looked in the direction that his remote control key was facing, and when they saw him really reached out to unlock a BMW, they all exclaimed, "These little friends really don't have much promise." They were shocked when they saw Zhongming's 500,000 plus Mercedes just now. They felt that this was their ultimate goal in life, but they didn't expect it. Charlie even drove a BMW. Zhang Ming's complexion immediately became a little unsightly, because BMW and Mercedes are basically the same brands, and this made him feel a little uncomfortable, who originally thought he stood apart. He should be the only one in the orphanage who can afford a BMW and Benz. Unexpectedly, Charlie could even afford a BMW. He felt uncomfortable, so he took a closer look at Charlie's BMW and found that there were 3 numbers 520 written on the back of the trunk, and his mood finally improved. In fact, the BMW 5 Series and the Mercedes E-Class are 2 levels that are completely equivalent, and is not bad. However, Zhang Ming knows very well that Charlie's BMW 520 is the second most beggar version of the BMW 5 Series. His own Mercedes E300L is closer to the top of the Mercedes E-Class. There are also E260 and E200 below. In other words, Charlie's BMW 520 and Mercedes E200 are of the same grade, so his own E300L also overwhelmed Charlie. So he deliberately said, "Oh, Charlie, it's not that I told you, you are really dying to face and suffer. Other experts have said that when buying a car, you must never buy the last beggar version. You say you have this money, why can't you buy a BMW 3 Series with a mid to high profile? Why do you have to lick your face, put on a big tail eagle, and buy the lowest BMW 5 Series? Are you too vain?" Someone asked in surprise, "Zhang Ming, what is the beggar version?" Zhang Ming smiled and said, "The beggar version is this car, the most garbage model in these series, and the lowest model, which belongs to the ranks of the crane tail." Everyone suddenly realized. Charlie suddenly remembered that when the Darren Hotel opened, he drove a BMW 540 and acted like Gerald. Thinking that Gerald deliberately agitated him and wanted to use his 540 to crush his 520, Charlie was suddenly inspired by him. At that time, Gerald deliberately urged him to compare himself with him, but now it is his own way to urge Zhang Ming to compare this man with himself. Therefore, he deliberately said to Zhang Ming, "Zhang Ming, there is a saying, I don't know if you've heard it, saying that there are no meat cars, only meat people. In other words, as long as your skills are at home, you can drive whatever car you like. Faster than others, but if you are not skilled enough, you will not be able to drive even if they give you an F1. After speaking, Charlie said with a disdainful face, "Zhang Ming, it's not that I'm talking to you. I have a very good driving skill. People give me the nickname, Horace Hill Schumacher." When Zhang Ming heard this, he immediately curled his mouth and said, "Oh, shit, you are Horace Hill Schumacher. Do you know what Schumacher looks like?" Charlie sneered disdainfully, "Do you believe it or not?" Zhang Ming coldly snorted, "The mouth is on your face, just blow it. I don't believe that it's just like you. If you drive a BMW 520, you dare to call Horace Hill Schumacher? I kick the accelerator and let you eat your exhaust." After all, Zhang Ming raised his eyebrows arrogantly and asked, "Would you like to compare?" "Ah, come again." Charlie smiled and said, "I'm telling you that, some time ago, I just put a BMW 540 on the ground. The power of the BMW 540 is much stronger than your Mercedes E300L. Zhang Ming spit out and said with contempt, Charlie, do you brag about it and don't write drafts? Just your broken car, the BMW 540? Don't talk about the 540, you can do it today. A Mercedes E300L, I have your last name. Charlie deliberately asked, how much horsepower is your car? Zhang Ming said proudly, my car has 258 horsepower. Charlie nodded, gave a thumbs up, and said, then you are awesome. I can't do this, only 184, far worse than you. You are still amazing. Zhang Ming sneered and said sarcastically, why? Don't you dare to compare? What did you just say? You smashed the 340 horsepower 540. My 258 horsepower Mercedes-Benz E300L, you are afraid? Are you still a man? Charlie deliberately said timidly, oh, I can't say that it can be better than yours. What is it better than you? You won, and you won't fight against others, right? That won't work. Seeing Charlie's confession, Zhang Ming bit him instead. He deliberately increased the volume a bit and said, everyone has heard it. You said it yourself. There is no meat car, but only meat people. If this is the case, then we too will compete in front of all the students. Charlie waved his hand and said a heart-wrenching sentence, oh, Zhang Ming, let's not compare. Everyone is not a heavyweight player. It would be unfair to be together like this. It's really unfair. BMW 760 and Mercedes E300L are no different from Husky. When Zhang Ming saw that Charlie said that he was not a heavyweight, he thought Charlie was scared, and he immediately sneered, Charlie, didn't you just brag? Why are you talking about it now? In front of your wife, can you look like a man? Charlie pretended to be annoyed and said, oh, I said Zhang Ming. It is meaningless for you to talk like this. Everyone is a small partner who grew up together. Do you need to be so aggressive? Yes, you should drive a car. What's so good about the car? Do you really think your car is better than mine? You can beat me. Zhang Ming thought that Charlie got the set, but he didn't expect that he actually got the set, and hurriedly said, the key to whether you can beat depends on whether you dare to compare with me. If you are counseled and not a man, then there is no way for you. Charlie immediately became ashamed and said, okay. Comparing, who is afraid of whom? Zhang Ming immediately smiled and said, great. Then let's try and compare, so let's get to the Grand Hyatt Hotel first, then whoever gets there first. What do you think? Charlie nodded, it's okay, but it should be some color, right? Come on. Zhang Ming said confidently, you can open the color head, whatever you want. Charlie thought for a while and said, let's do it. I heard from Xiao Fen today that the orphanage is still short of funds, or else, no matter who we are, we will donate our car to the orphanage and let it go to the welfare. What do you think? The good brother Zhao Hao hurriedly grabbed him and blurted out, Charlie, don't be fooled by him. This person is not at all well-intentioned. Charlie smiled, saying that it is okay, but in his heart he secretly said, my dear brother, I actually want him to be fooled by me, because I am the one who really has no peace of mind. But it is naturally impossible to say this. Zhang Ming laughed aloud at this time and said, Charlie, is your BMW 520 in your name? Didn't you push the door upside down? This should be your wife's car? Why are you not embarrassed to take your wife's car out? What about the generosity of others? What if you lose and your wife is unwilling to donate this car to the orphanage? Claire on the side was also very dissatisfied with Zhang Ming's arrogant attitude, and said, although the car is written with my name, you can rest assured that I will guarantee it personally. If my husband loses to you, then I will donate the car to the orphanage. If you lose to my husband, then you have to donate your car to the orphanage. So many people are watching, do you agree? When Zhang Ming heard these words, he immediately relaxed. They think, his Mercedes E300L can't even run with BMW 520? Since you want to get humiliated, get ready to say goodbye to your car. So Zhang Ming said, since you have said so beauties, of course I have no opinion. There are so many friends here to witness, including Aunt Lena, who is also here to witness. We are so sure, who loses? Donate this car to the orphanage. Aunt Lena hurriedly said, oh, you guys. What is this for? We grew up together, what can't you say, you have to be stunned here? Listen to me, don't make this bet anymore, let's just eat with peace of mind, reminisce about the past, and enhance the relationship. Zhang Ming said immediately, Aunt Lena, don't worry about this. This is a bit of personal grievance between Charlie and me. Besides, we are more than a match. It is not whoever wins, and who wins is good for the orphanage. As a result, if my car is sold second-hand, it can sell for 400,000. Although Charlie's car is cheap, it can sell for 2 or 3. The money from selling can be donated to the orphanage, or it can be used by the brother of the orphanage. My sisters have a good life. Charlie smiled and said to Aunt Lena at this time, Aunt Lena, you don't have to worry about this. Zhang Ming and I will handle it in private. Aunt Lena was actually mainly afraid that Charlie would suffer, but seeing Charlie's confidence, she suddenly felt that this matter should not be as simple as she thought. Actually, when she went to East Cliff to see a doctor this time, Aunt Lena found something wrong. The first thing that is not right is that the doctors in the hospital were too polite to her and treated her as a VIP. When she was recuperating in the hospital, she happened to meet a domestic celebrity and went to Fairview to see a doctor. The person who treated that celebrity at that time was her doctor. However, she found that the treating doctor's attitude towards the star was far less respectful than his attitude towards herself. She couldn't help but secretly thought that she was just an employee of an orphanage, and she came to East Cliff for the first time in her life. It was impossible to have anything to do with her. What background might she have, so why did the doctor treat her so respectfully? The second problem is that she went to the operating table and was injected with general anesthesia by the anesthesiologist, but before she passed out immediately, she heard chief surgeon talking to his assistant. Dazed, she heard the other party say that this patient is the benefactor of the young master, so they must be cautious and careful. She never understood what exactly was the young master that the other party was talking about. Or maybe she had hallucinations and misheard. However, every time she thinks of this clip, she always thinks of Charlie. Although she doesn't know why, she always feels that looking at the grown-up child is far from simple as she thought. What's more, all of the millions of medical expenses that she had spent in the hospital at the beginning were all solved by Charlie. What kind of method does he have to solve so much money in a short time? This made her feel a little weird. Seeing Charlie at this time, she found that Charlie has indeed changed a lot from before. The biggest change is that he is more confident than before, and much more confident. This also made Aunt Lena very pleased in her heart, because in the past so many years, she too hoped that Charlie could be more confident, but she had not been successful, but now it seems that he has successfully passed that hurdle. Thinking of this, she no longer intervened in the gambling agreement between Charlie and Zhang Ming. Zhang Ming looked at Charlie smugly at this time, and said with a smile, "Charlie, to be fair, each of us is full of 5 people in our car. Let our little friends including Aunt Lena come as a testimony, lest you who denies after losing." Charlie nodded and said, "Well, Aunt Lena, Xiao Fen, and Zhao Hao are in my car." "Okay." Zhang Ming said with a smile, "Then those of us who played well back then, take my car together." The friends who are good deeds immediately uttered a cheer, but because the car can't fit so many people after all, there are still a few friends who can only take a taxi. Charlie sat in the BMW 760 he bought for Claire, and his wife Claire sat in the co-pilot. Aunt Lena, Xiao Fen, and Hao Zhao sat in the back row. Charlie said to the person in the car, "Sit down, and I will be on the straight road in front of you later. I can end the battle with a kick of the accelerator." After speaking, he looked at Aunt Lena and told, "Aunt Lena, grab the handrails and hold on. I can make a Mercedes-Benz for our orphanage with a kick of the accelerator. Easy to sell for more than 300,000, then buy some good toys for the children." Aunt Lena nodded and said with a smile, "Then I have to thank you for the children in our orphanage." On the other side, Zhang Ming's car was also full of 5 people, all of whom were his attendants. Zhang Ming drove the car to Charlie's BMW, lowered the window, and said with a smile, "Charlie, let's go when you are ready, I will let you run for 3 seconds." Charlie said modestly, Don't, you're all friends, let's not be boring for more than 3 seconds, let's get together." "Ha." The 5 people on the Mercedes laughed loudly, and Zhang Mingle said, "Charlie, you are really interesting. If this is the case, then I count 1, 2, 3. Charlie nodded, "Okay, come on." Zhang Ming laughed and said, "Come on, 1, 2, 3, go." After speaking, Zhang Ming immediately stomped on the accelerator. Charlie let him deliberately for a second, and then stepped on the accelerator deeply, causing the BMW 760 to rush out quickly like an off-string arrow. In few seconds, Charlie had already left Zhang Ming far behind. The road went straight all the way, and slightly increased the speed, which directly cast away Zhang Ming. Zhang Ming didn't realize that it was Charlie's car that rushed past, until someone around him reminded him, "Brother Zhang Ming, that kid Charlie has passed." "Where?" Zhang Ming panicked, and he looked at him with a dazed look. How could he be so fast? A kid in the back seat sighed, "It seems that Charlie does have some skills." "Technology." Zhang Ming came down in cold sweat, blurted out, "This is not good technology at all, this is a strong motivation, he tricked me." The man hurriedly asked, "What do you mean?" Jiang Ming scolded angrily, "My car has stepped on the floor oil, and he is so much faster than me. This proves that the horsepower of his car is much stronger than the horsepower of my car. At least it has to run. Go with 400 horsepower." Speaking of this, Jiang Ming said in a panic, "This is over, this is really over, Charlie has calculated it." The kid in the co-pilot asked, "What's the matter, brother Jiang Ming, can't you win?" Win a chicken feather? Jiang Ming was already crying anxiously, and blurted out, "The car is obviously not at the same level as others. Even if you run away from the car, you can't catch up with them, you see. Look, now you can't see his shadow. The Hyatt Hotel is only 2 or 3 kilometers away. What am I going to chase after? This time I've lost." "Ah," a person in the back row blurted out, "Brother Jiang Ming, if you really lose, will you donate this car to the orphanage?" "I'll donate an egg." Jiang Ming gritted his teeth and cursed, "Do you know how much effort I took to buy this car? It is impossible, you will have to kill me and donate it to the orphanage." "But, you've already made a bet with Charlie in public. If you break your promise by then, wouldn't it be unsightly?" Jiang Ming was also aware of this problem. If he really turns back, wouldn't all he be laughed at by these little friends? But if he killed myself, he didn't want to give this newly bought car directly to the orphanage. At this moment, he even thought that he would just drive away and stop eating this meal, and he would never interact with the group of people in the orphanage in the future. Just as he thought about it, there was a flash of light in his mind. Immediately afterwards, he did not hesitate to change lanes to the right lane, and rushed to the rear of the car in front of him. Jiang Ming has already figured it out. The best solution is to have a traffic accident on his own. In this way, it is equivalent to the end of the game due to force majeure, so he will not lose. Therefore, he wanted to find a car to chase up. At this moment, the guy in the co-pilot was so scared that he yelled, blurting out, "Brother Jiang Ming! Brother Jiang Ming! We're going to hit! We're going to hit!" Jiang Ming sneered, and said in his heart, "All I want is to hit." However, when he got closer and closer to the car in front of him, he discovered that the car in front was a black Porsche Cayenne. At this moment, he immediately stepped on the brake. Cayenne got a millions, but he only bought $500,000 for his car damage insurance. If he crashed into this car, the insurance might not be enough. It just so happened that there was a Passat on the right side of the lane, so he slapped in the direction and hit the Volkswagen Passat. With a bang, Passat was slammed for a while before stopping, and Jiang Ming's front face of Mercedes was also smashed beyond recognition. Fortunately, the airbag exploded, so no one was injured. After crashing the car, Jiang Ming stopped the car immediately, pushed the door and walked off, then immediately turned on his mobile phone and took a video on WeChat. He patted the front of his car and patted the Passat which was hit by himself in front of him. He said, "My friends, please help me tell Charlie that there was an accident on my side and I ran into a Passat. Today's race is definitely not going to go on, so let's wait for my car to be repaired and then I will compare with him." After that, he clicked send and sent the video to the group of the orphanage. After posting the video, he thought to himself, "I was so witty. Actually thought of using this method to solve the problem." Really smart. Otherwise, if he really drove the car to the Hyatt Hotel, then he really won't be able to get off the stage. Even if he don't donate the car, he won't be able to get involved in the circle of the orphanage in the future. Originally, it was okay not to be in this circle. He didn't have any real feelings with these people, nor did he have any feelings for Aunt Lena. However, when he met Xiao Fen today, he felt that he has a new goal in life. He is preparing to look for an opportunity recently to launch an offensive against Xiao Fen. If he loses the game today and denies it, then he must be foolish to play Xiao Fen. Just when he was very proud of his intelligence, a middle-aged man walked up to him, pointed at him and yelled, "You're blind. Who told you that this car is a Passat? It is a W12 top with imported Phaeton. More than 2 million. Did your mind kick the donkey?" "What?" Zhang Ming said dumbfounded. "Phaeton? Isn't it Passat?" When the man heard this, he scolded his mother angrily. He reached out and grabbed his collar and dragged him to the front. He pointed to his car bu.tt and cursed, "Your mother will show you clearly what this is. Come and talk." Zhang Ming's heart was suddenly cold. This is the lowest key Volkswagen Phaeton in the legend? How does this look different from Passat? Although Porsche is a luxury brand, an ordinary Cayenne is just over $1 million. However, although the German Volkswagen is a common brand, the Volkswagen Phaeton is a very, very expensive model. The top-equipped Phaeton is more than 2 million, which is not cheaper than the top-equipped Audi A8, the top-equipped Mercedes S, and the top-equipped BMW 7 Series. Zhang Ming was taken aback by the logo of the Porsche Cayenne just now, so he subconsciously wanted to choose a cheaper car and hit him. Seeing this Phaeton, in the evening, he only saw a Volkswagen logo hung on the back of his bu.tt, and the car looked like a Passat, so he just ran into it without thinking about it. However, he didn't expect it to be a low-key and cheating Phaeton. When he thought that this car was worth more than 2 million, he felt depressed and wanted to die. Cars pay attention to the ratio of parts to the whole. In other words, if the parts of a car are taken apart, the price will be 2 or 3 times or even higher than the price of the car. In the rear-end collision just now, the other party's 2 tail lights, trunk, and anti-collision beams were all damaged. This Phaeton is an imported car again. All parts and accessories need to be imported, so it might cost hundreds of thousands to repair. Moreover, his Mercedes also crashed very badly. Mercedes is one of the brands with the highest retail ratio. As for this 500,000 Mercedes E-Class, it can be dismantled at least more than 1 million according to the Force Shop's parts quotation. With 2 automatic headlights alone, it costs more than 60,000. In addition, the front hood, water tank, radiator, and anti-collision beams all had problems, and 2 airbags burst. If the damage of this car is determined by the insurance, at least about 200,000 will be need to get it repaired. If they really hit a Passat, then the combined damage of the 2 cars will definitely not exceed 500,000. In this case, all the money will be paid by the insurance company, so there is nothing to worry about. But he was blind and ran into a Phaeton. With this calculation, the damage of the 2 cars is estimated to be close to 1 million. Insurance can only compensate 500,000, and you have to figure out the remaining money. He suddenly felt incomparably collapsed, looking at the middle-aged man driving the phaeton, crying and saying, "Big brother, you drive such a car to go out, aren't you in a pitfall? I'm cheating." The middle-aged man raised his hand angrily and slapped him in the face, angrily cursed, "You ran into my car. You are all responsible. You said I cheated. Believe me or not. Now make a call and let someone chop you off." Jiang Ming covered his face, stepped back subconsciously, and blurted out, "You, how can you hit someone? I can't beat you." The phaeton driver asked coldly, "Do you know who I am?" "I don't know," Jiang Ming shook his head with a guilty conscience. The driver grabbed Jiang Ming by the collar, pulled him closer, and observed at him angrily, "You can see me clearly. My name is Ma Zhongliang. Have you heard of my name?" When Jiang Ming heard this, his face paled in fright. Of course he has heard of Ma Zhongliang's name. There are 4 heavenly kings under Orville, all of whom are Orville's most powerful men. These 4 heavenly kings in Oris Hill are also big figures in each town, and the most famous one is Ma Zhongliang. People in the arena, Liang brother. Jiang Ming never dreamed that he would run into Ma Zhongliang's phaeton in order to avoid a Porsche Cayenne. He already regretted it and wanted to die at this time. He had known this a long time ago, and he just hit the Porsche directly. No, if he knew it was like this, he wouldn't be faster than Charlie in any car. That's right. It's all because of Charlie's who dared to trick him. His BMW 520 is surprisingly powerful. At first glance, it was a modified car. If he doesn't shame him, how can he make such a bad move? Thinking of this, Jiang Ming hated Charlie very much. Ma Zhongliang looked at the boy pale with fright, and snorted coldly, "Go, show me your driving license and ID card." Jiang Ming didn't dare to disobey, hurried back to the car, took out all these documents, and handed them to Ma Zhongliang respectfully. After reading the documents, Ma Zhongliang put all the documents directly into his pocket. Afterwards, he looked at Jiang Ming and said coldly, "Jiang Ming? I have been walking in the rivers and lakes for so many years. I really don't want to care about you, it hasn't been a month since I just bought it. You crashed like this, even if you fix it for me, this car is still the injured car, not my new car." Speaking of this, Ma Zhongliang said sternly, "So, the solution I give you is very simple. From now on, this phaeton is yours." When Jiang Ming heard this, he was stunned. He didn't understand why Ma Zhongliang said that. Give him this phaeton? Impossible. At this time, Ma Zhongliang said with a gloomy expression, "This car is for you. You buy me a new car with exactly the same configuration. I will not pursue this matter. You are also lucky. I have a much better temper now. Otherwise, just because you hit my car, I have to break your leg first." After hearing Ma Zhongliang's words, Jiang Ming knelt on the ground with a desperate plop. Let himself loose for a new car, which can cost more than 2 million. Where can he get so much money? And what's the use of this car for himself? Repairing it alone would cost hundreds of thousands, and once it was repaired, it would cost hundreds of thousands to sell it. All in all, it would cost him hundreds of thousands to get his car alone. This hasn't counted the damage to his car. Insurance companies can only cover $500,000, and their combined losses are estimated to exceed $1 million. Zhang Ming almost collapsed at this moment, because he bought this Mercedes with a loan, and has to pay back a monthly payment of more than 10,000 every month, and it will be enough for 3 years. All of his household belongings are used to pay the down payment, and monthly salary is just over 20,000. What can he do to bear the millions of losses? Thinking of this, Zhang Ming cried and said to Ma Zhongliang, "Brother Liang, I am to blame for this matter today. I am solely responsible. I admit it. But I really don't have much money. I can't afford such an expensive car and pay you. Then I don't care." Ma Zhongliang scolded, "You have to pay me satisfactory compensation if you crashed my car. You have no money? You have no money to figure out a solution. I will give you at most 1 week, if 1 week, I can't see the new Phaeton in my house, then I will let someone cut you off." After speaking, Ma Zhongliang said again, "I have something to do, my car is now yours. You only have 1 week, and if you can't solve this problem, I'll cut you off. If you dare to run, I will kill you." Zhang Ming trembled with fright, and at this time he didn't know what to do. Ma Zhongliang was too lazy to talk nonsense with him, returned to the Phaeton, took out his personal belongings, and threw the car keys directly to Zhang Ming. "This car also has a spare key. When you hand it over to me, I will give you that key. Don't worry. Although I am a gangster, I am never wronged. It should be me. Yes, I want it, it shouldn't be mine, I don't want anything. We people in the rivers and lakes act only 2 words, pay attention to it. But if you don't pay attention to me, don't blame me for being cruel." After speaking, he stretched out his hand to hit a rental car and drove away. The few friends around Zhang Ming were dumbfounded. Everyone couldn't help sighing in their hearts. This Ma Zhongliang is indeed the elder brother on the road. He acted decisively and simply. He threw a car worth more than 2 million here and turned around. This style is simply too handsome. However, at this moment, Zhang Ming knelt on the ground and cried bitterly. How can he get the money to buy a new Phaeton? Even if the 2 accident cars are sold, it is far from enough. But the other party has a big backing. If he doesn't solve this problem, 1 week later, the other party might really hack him to death. Zhang Ming didn't know what to do anymore. Now that the 2 cars were in front of him, he had the desire to die. A few friends who have always liked him, stepped forward at this time and asked with concern, "Brother Zhang Ming, what should we do now?" Zhang Ming grabbed his hair with both hands, and collapsed and said, "I don't know what to do. I don't know that I can hit a Phaeton while driving. I don't know why someone would spend more than 2 million to buy it. A car that looks like a Passat." After that, he cried in his arms. At this time, the WeChat group of the orphanage had already exploded. Ever since Zhang Ming posted the video, a lot of people in the group have been asking him with concern, "Is he okay? How about people? Are they injured?" After all, everyone is a small partner who grew up together. After watching the excitement, everyone was very worried after knowing that Zhang Ming had a traffic accident. But Charlie knew very well that this must be the other party's mediation. The BMW 760 he drove was just a kick, and it left the opponent's Mercedes far behind. Under such circumstances, everyone knows that Zhang Ming must not win the game. Zhang Ming must know it himself. He was definitely not willing to donate that Mercedes-Benz to the orphanage, so he chose a traffic accident at this time as an excuse to terminate the race. In fact, if he strictly followed the agreement, no matter what happened to him while driving, as long as he arrived later than Charlie, he would lose. If he lose, he must naturally be willing to bet. But Charlie knew very well that since Zhang Ming had already used the method of a traffic accident to find himself down, then he could not be aggressive. The other party has had accidents. If he is still aggressive, then in the eyes of these friends, it is not close to humanity. On the BMW car, Aunt Lena said worriedly, "You should call Zhang Ming and ask him if there is anything wrong with him. Don't get hurt." Xiao Fen curled her lips and said, "Aunt Lena, I think this Zhang Ming deliberately tried to rear-end. He must know that his car is not better than Charlie's brother, and he is unwilling to donate the car to the orphanage if he is willing to lose. This is a bad idea." Aunt Lena hurriedly said, "Xiao Fen, don't make such presumptions about the intentions of others. If you misunderstand others, then traffic accidents are a major matter. Nothing is the most important thing." "Okay." Xiao Fen nodded helplessly. So Xiao Fen called the little friend sitting in Zhang Ming's co-pilot. After the other party answered the phone, Xiao Fen asked, "Why did Zhang Ming say that he had a car accident in the group? How are you? Are you all right?" Aunt Lena is particularly worried. The man said awkwardly, Zhang Ming, he ran into a highway." Before he finished speaking, Zhang Ming stood up, grabbed the phone, and blurted out, "Xiao Fen, I'm fine. I just rear-ended a Passat. I'm negotiating with the owner to resolve it. I'll come there when it's done. Don't worry." When Xiao Fen heard this, she hummed and said, "Then we will wait for you at the hotel entrance. We've all been here for a long time." Zhang Ming hurriedly said, "Oh, then you can help me tell Charlie, I'm really sorry this time, I can't finish the game, so let me ask him again when I have time in a few days." Xiao Fen said good, and hung up the phone. Here, the little friend who first received a call from Xiao Feng couldn't help but ask Zhang Ming, "Brother Zhang Ming, are you going to eat at night after such a big incident?" "Come, of course I want to go." Zhang Ming blurted out, "It's great to invite Aunt Lena to dinner tonight, how can I not go?" In fact, what Zhang Ming was thinking was that now he has a shortfall of more than 1 million, and he must do everything possible to get more money. At least half of the price difference can be paid for this meal. When the time comes, he will order more dishes and try to make this meal to 40,000 to 50,000. In this way, he can earn more than 20,000. More than 20,000 is a lot. Thinking of this, Zhang Ming immediately said to a few people around him, "Don't tell anyone what happened just now, do you understand?" "Understand." Several people nodded hurriedly. Zhang Ming said with a black face, "In this way, my car's airbags have blown up, and it seems that I can't drive it. You help me push the car to the side of the road, stop here, and then we drive this Phaeton over. Phaeton, it's just being chased, it should still be possible to drive." "It is good." Zhang Ming drove the Phaeton to the hotel. Several friends around him were stunned by the luxurious interiors of the Phaeton. A kid behind the seat sighed, "It really is a Phaeton, low-key and luxurious. This car is really cool to sit up. It feels like it's worth over 100 million in an instant." Zhang Ming felt even more uncomfortable after hearing this. "What is this? It really is." A few minutes later, Zhang Ming, who was extremely depressed, drove Ma Zongliang's Phaeton to the Hyatt Hotel. He dared not drive the car to the door of the hotel, but parked in a quiet place in the parking lot, and then walked over with others. At this time, the friends including Charlie and others were all waiting at the gate of the Hyatt Hotel. Seeing Zhang Ming came over, many people approached with concern and asked about the accident. Although Zhang Ming was very upset, he still waved his hand pretending to be indifferent and said, "It's okay, it's okay, it's just a chase and insurance can solve it." Everyone is relieved now. Charlie looked at Zhang Ming with interest, and smiled, "Zhang Ming, it's too late for you to chase after you. There are only 2 or 3 kilometers in total. You could decide the outcome soon. How can you rear-end by such a coincidence?" Zhang Ming looked at Charlie annoyed, and deliberately said, "Do you think I am afraid of you? If I hadn't chased the tail, I was designate to win." Xiao Fen pouted and said, "Just blow it. Brother Charlie kicked you back just now with a kick of the accelerator. I think if you didn't rear-end, you must lose." "Just kidding." Zhang Ming deliberately made an excuse and said, "The reason why Charlie was able to overtake me at the start was because I forgot to set the car to sport mode." As he said, he hurriedly turned away from the subject and said, "Oh, I told you, this woman who doesn't understand cars, that these are meaningless. Let's go in quickly. I have already booked a place." Charlie didn't care about him anymore, and entered the Hyatt Hotel with everyone. The Hyatt Hotel is a comprehensive hotel integrating dining, entertainment and leisure. However, the location is a bit remote, which is far from Shangri-La and Brilliant Club. Zhang Ming took the lead and led everyone into the Hyatt Hotel. A waiter greeted him and looked at Zhang Ming and asked politely, "Hello master, do you have an appointment?" Although Zhang Ming was very bitter, he still pretended to be bullish and said, "My name is Zhang Ming, and I booked the table No. 03 in the lobby." After finishing speaking, Zhang Ming said to everyone, "I'm sorry guys, we decided to be a bit late. They only have a seat in the hall today." Everyone expressed their understanding. After all, for most people, it is the first time for them to have a meal in a 5-star hotel, even in the lobby. The waiter smiled and said after checking the error, "Okay, Mr. Zhang, your reserved seat is ready. Everyone, please come with me." The waiter led everyone to the catering department. Zhang Ming spoke at this time and couldn't help but said to Charlie, "Charlie, you must have never been to such a high-end place, this time you are lucky. If you can follow me in to see, or else, you might not have the chance to enjoy it in a lifetime." Upon hearing this, Charlie couldn't help but laugh. The top Shangri-La hotel in Oris Hill is all owned by his own. With a fraction of his bank card, he can buy the entire Hyatt Hotel, so he doesn't even bother to refute a person like Zhang Ming. Therefore, Charlie smiled slightly, too lazy to take care of Zhang Ming's rag. Seeing Charlie's indifferent attitude, Zhang Ming was even more angry. This Charlie has never put himself in his eyes since he was a child. doesn't put him in the eyes now. He is just a live-in son-in-law, and he doesn't know where he is, and dare to despise him so much. It seems that today he must find a way to make him lose face. At this time, Jiang Ming already had a good way to kill two birds with one stone. He has to do everything possible to make Charlie lose face, and at the same time make his group of friends admire him. When the time comes, he will directly play with them with an empty-gloved white wolf and try to use it. At the same solve the trouble of rear-ending Ma Zhongliang Phaeton car. The more Jiang Ming thought about it, the more he felt that this was a good idea with two birds with one stone. After making this decision, Jiang Ming felt a lot of comfort, and then he walked in the forefront with great momentum. When he arrived at the predetermined table position, Jiang Ming asked Aunt Lena to sit down. When Aunt Lena was seated, Jiang Ming sat on her left hand, and Ronald and others, who had knelt and licked Jiang Ming before, sat down one by one, sometimes flattering. Charlie and Claire also sat down on her right hand at Aunt Lena's request. As for the others, they all sat down on the table one by one. As soon as they sat down, Aunt Lena looked at these children and said with relief, "Children, thank you for remembering me in your heart, and you came to see me." Everyone hurriedly said, "Aunt Lena, what are you talking about? We should be." Aunt Lena asked, "How have you been all these years?" Everyone laughed one after another. "Let Aunt Lena miss you, we are all fine." After leaving the orphanage for many years, everyone have their own different life trajectory, but in general, most people are ordinary people. No matter how big ideals and ambitions in the past are, they are all influenced by reality after entering society. Defeated, in ordinary life, will eventually return to ordinary. Everyone has changed a lot. When many people talk about their lives, although they pretend to be relaxed, they are silent after listening. It is obvious that many people's lives are not very satisfactory. They have no background and no support. In this society, they can only work bit by bit on their own. It is already good to be able to become ordinary people. It is no different from a dream to become a master. At this time, someone asked Jiang Ming, "Jiang Ming, I heard that you are now the director of a listed group in Oris Hill." Jiang Ming smiled triumphantly and said, "Yes, I have been in this directorship for half a year." As soon as these words came out, several people on the table exclaimed, "My God, the directorship of a listed group must have an annual salary of several 100,000? Jiang Ming, you are too good, no wonder you can afford a Mercedes." Jiang Ming said proudly, So, to put it bluntly, I get an annual salary of several 100,000 a year, which is just to make a living." Having said this, he pretended to sigh and said, "However, the salary is not counted anymore, it is just enough to provide food and clothing. What really depends on is the commission and bonus." With that said, Jiang Ming said, "Don't hide it from everyone, now I am in charge of a big project of the company. When that project is completed, I will be able to share a bonus of more than 1 million. When they heard this, everyone was even more surprised and hurriedly said, "Ming Jiang, no, Mr. Jiang Ming, what company is yours? The benefits are so good, even the bonus can be divided into more than 1 million. Jiang Ming said triumphantly, "Speaking of it, it scares you. It is Oris Hill's famous White Group, like Xinhe Group, it is actually White's industry, and the profit of a project must be spent in units of tens of millions. Let's calculate, what I take, is considered to be less. Charlie frowned. White Group, isn't that the property of Solomon White's family? Is Zhongming doing something for the White family? This is kind of funny. At this moment, Zhongming saw that Charlie had been silent, so he deliberately said, "Charlie, what are you doing now? Wouldn't you just rely on your wife to support you after you become a son-in-law and eat leftovers?" As soon as he said this, several of his dogs couldn't help laughing. No matter how strong Charlie was, he was repeatedly provoked by Zhongming, and he did not get tired of it. He said indifferently, "Yes, I wash clothes and cook at home every day, clean up the housework, and live a comfortable life. How can I have free time to find a job?" Charlie told the truth, but it fell in Zhongming's ears, but he seemed to have heard a huge joke. He laughed and said sarcastically, "I said Charlie, everyone knows the bottom line, do you want face here? I don't believe how comfortable it is to be a son-in-law." As he said, he deliberately said, "By the way, we also grew up together anyway. To tell you the truth, I happen to be recruiting an assistant recently. Why would you not come and help me with Ronald?" Ronald in Zhongming's mouth is one of the doglegs who has been following him. Charlie asked curiously, "Why? Is Ronald in the same company with you?" "Yes." Zhongming said with a smile, "Ronald is one of my assistants." As he said to Charlie again, "Come and help me. I don't need any work experience from you. You just need to do chores and serve tea and water. Anyway, you are the best at serving people. A monthly salary of 3,000, how about it? Bring tea and pour water? 3,000 monthly salary?" Charlie smiled and said, "The salary is so high, I don't deserve it, I still won't go." Zhongming nodded, and said triumphantly, "It's not about blowing with you or with me. Sooner or later you can make a lot of money. Take Ronald as an example. If it weren't for me, he would have starved to death." As he said with a sullen look, "Well, is your heart moved? If your heart is moved, tell you buddy, as long as I say a word, you can come to work tomorrow." When Ronald heard this, his face was embarrassed, but he dared not refute it. Hearing Zhongming's invitation, Charlie shook his head and said, "Thank you for your kindness, but I'm used to eating leftovers, so let's forget it." There was a sullen anger on Zhongming's face, and he pressed his anger and said, "Charlie, you really take the kindness of others as donkey liver and lungs. I kindly give you a job. This is your attitude." At this time, Aunt Lena saw it and hurriedly said, "Okay, you two don't quarrel anymore. It was originally a friendly party. You two are so noisy. I don't think you should eat this meal, so as not to finish your meal." The two turned against each other. Zhongming said aggrieved, "Auntie Lena, to be honest, I really do it for Charlie's good. I usually don't bring others to make money. If he can really put down his body and come over and do it with me, I will definitely take him with me. He can make more money." With that said, Zhongming looked at the big guy and said seriously, "Everyone, since we grew up together, there is no need for me to lie to everyone. To tell you the truth, I am now a director of a fund company. Our fund company, it belongs to the White Group. Everyone in the fund should have heard of it. It makes money very quickly. Sometimes 100,000 is invested. The next day it becomes hundreds of thousands, and it becomes more than 200,000 in a month. We make funds. Yes, I have a lot of internal information, but I never disclose it to the outside world, let alone make money with others. I really see Charlie being a son-in-law too pitiful, so I showed him a clear way. As soon as the crowd heard this, someone immediately asked, "Brother Zhongming, you really do a fund? Then can you tell us any internal information?" Seeing that everyone had been fooled, Zhongming nodded immediately and said, "It is true that I do have a lot of inside information in my hands. I also made some money from inside information. Otherwise, I would not be able to afford a Mercedes-Benz." After speaking, Zhongming said again, "Oh, yes, in fact, I have more than one car, I also have another car. That car is relatively low-key. You may not have heard of it." Someone hurriedly asked, "What car? Come and tell." Zhongming smiled and said, "Popular Phaeton." After finishing speaking, he took out Ma Zongliang's Phaeton car key from his pocket, patted it on the table, smiled and said, "Look at this, there is a public logo on it, and Phaeton's English, but people who don't understand it, when you see the Volkswagen logo, you will think that this car is very cheap, and you will even think of it as a Passat. I bought this car because of this. After all, it's low-key." In fact, Zhongming's heart was bleeding when he said this. What he said was all his personal experience just now. Because he didn't see the Phaeton's English clearly, and only saw the Volkswagen logo, he thought it was a Passat and bumped it. It's miserable now, there are millions of holes, and he doesn't know how to plug it. If the strategy he thought of today could not be blocked, he would basically be finished. It's really Phaeton. A boy recognized the Phaeton's car key, saw the word W12 on it, and blurted out, "This is the most expensive model of Volkswagen. The top model costs more than 2 million. It is known as the lowest profile super luxury car. Oh my God, brother, you actually bought the Phaeton, is it too low-key?" Coming in the same car with Zhongming and seeing several people before and after the accident, their expressions were a little unnatural. They did not expect that Zhongming could directly apply this matter to himself, and then use it to brag. However, they are all Zhongming's dog legs, so naturally they dare not expose Zhongming's lies. Zhongming smiled indifferently at this time and said, "In fact, the people in our fund are very low-key, because this business is indeed very profitable. Many people want to make money with you. Once he knows that you have inside information, you have a way to make money. They all want to come and take a ride and follow you to make a fortune." The man asked again, "By the way, Zhongming brother, what model of the Phaeton you bought?" Zhongming smiled indifferently, and said arrogantly, "I bought the Phaeton, which is a W12, which is a 12-cylinder engine." "My God!" The man said dumbfounded, "Brother Zhongming, this is the best match for Phaeton. It costs 200s of thousands for it all." Zhongming smiled and waved his hand, "In fact, it's nothing." After speaking, Zhongming said again, "In fact, I was low-key just now, so I didn't tell you my actual income. As a fund, we usually focus on 12 funds a month. If these 12 funds are good, each one can bring us hundreds of thousands or even higher income. At this time, someone hurriedly asked, "Brother Zhongming, we have been in a relationship for so many years. You have such a way to make money. Can you help your brother? I am about to get married. My mother-in-law asked me for 300,000 gift. How can I get it? I have to save money and spend till now, and I have saved a total of hundreds of thousands. At this rate, my marriage will definitely not be completed." Charlie recognized this kid. His name was Zhao Zhou, and he was also an orphan. When Zhongming heard that he had a deposit of more than 100,000, his heart was immediately moved. He blurted out, "To do a fund, the main thing is to make a leverage. The more money you invest, the more you earn. Your hundreds of thousands of startup funds are really too little." Zhao Zhou begged, "Brother Zhongming, this is too much for all my in-law, and I can't take it out anymore." As he said, he choked and said, "Brother Zhongming, to be honest, an orphan like me, beating children without father and mother, without money, skills, and no schooling for a few years is equivalent to half illiterate. I can only do some hard work outside to earn some money. It's not easy, and I want to marry a wife now, but I can't marry. I beg you to help me and help me out for your poor brother's sake." Zhongming said with difficulty, "Brother, let me tell you a heart-wrenching remark. To play with funds, you must have the capital to play. Your hundreds of thousands are too small, and I can't bring you in." As he said, he arched his hands apologetically, "I'm sorry bro, don't blame me." The reason why Zhao Zhou was rejected was actually Zhongming deliberately played a trick. He himself is the sales director of a fraudulent fund, just like those thunderous P2P. His job is to do everything possible to fool those who don't understand and invest in what they call a fund. But in fact, none of these funds make money, and as long as they invest, they are doomed to lose money, and don't even want to get back a penny. At the beginning, Charlie's mother-in-law Elaine was cheated by this kind of fund company. As long as the money entered their company's account, it would be impossible to ask for it again. However, what he wants to do today is not to let them invest in their own funds, but to trick them into giving the money to himself, and pretend to invest in the funds for them, so that he can save his life with their money first. As soon as Zhao Zhou heard this, he was so anxious that he was almost crying. He was already madly poor and wanted to make money. He thought that Zhongming could bring himself to make money, but he did not expect that he had too little capital. So he could only plead, "Brother Zhongming, please, help brother, otherwise your brother really doesn't know what to do. My life has failed like this. You can't let me say anything. My girlfriend left me." Seeing that this man had already taken the bait, Zhongming continued acting and said, "Brother, it's not that I don't want to help you. The point is that your capital is too small and it's not easy to operate." As he said, he seemed to remember something, and his eyes lit up. "By the way, I have a way to help you." Zhao Zhou hurriedly asked, "What can be done?" "Zhongming brother, please speak up." Zhongming hurriedly said, "That's right. I know some friends who engage in online loans. As long as you provide an ID card, they can lend you a sum of money. Although each is not much, if you borrow more platforms, you can still make up enough for a batch. I guess you can borrow 4 or 500,000, plus your hundreds of thousands, and you have to make up at least 600,000. If this 600,000 is put into the fund, it will take a week. Doubling is not a problem. As soon as Zhao Zhou heard this, he choked with excitement. Brother Zhongming, then do as you said. Could you please introduce me the way to introduce online loans? Zhongming smiled and said, I'll push several loan platform apps to you later. Zhao Zhou said excitedly, Brother Zhongming, I really don't know how to thank you anymore. You are my benefactor of reinvention, and my second parent. He is an orphan and never went to school. He is illiterate. He finally found a second-hand girlfriend. Seeing that he was married, his mother-in-law in the future would not let go. Life was almost desperate. Therefore, he really had no choice but to pin all his hopes on Zhongming. Zhongming saw his mentality right, and prepared to cheat him on a big wave. First let him borrow a few hundred thousands everywhere, and then put his own hundreds of thousands together. In this case, with one person can solve the 600,000 funding gap for himself. If he can pit two such people, he can basically solve this problem. As for this Zhao Zhou, will he be rushed to death by the major online lending platforms in the future? It has nothing to do with him. Who makes this silly bird not mindful? It deserves to be pitted. At this time, a few friends in the orphanage heard that 600,000 would double in a week, and they were all moved. Someone said, Brother Zhongming, can you take me with you for this kind of thing? Zhongming said seriously, as long as you can get a bargaining chip, this matter can bring you money together. If you can't get a bargaining chip, then learn from Zhao Zhou, and then first borrow from some online lending platforms. After a lot of money is paid out, and after a big profit, the money is returned. This is called borrowing chicken to lay eggs. When the man heard this, he blurted out, Brother Zhongming, count me, count me. Aunt Lena has not spoken, but when she hears this, she can't help but say with some worry, Zhongming, now TV stations have exposed a lot of high-interest online lending platforms. Their profitable interest is really scary. I think it's better not to touch it as a last resort. Zhongming did not expect that Aunt Lena would come out to spoil his good deeds, and immediately said, Aunt Lena, the platforms you mentioned are indeed very high, but the platforms my friends operate are all very formal, and the interest is not so high, compared with the income of my fund, that point of interest is almost negligible. After a pause, Zhongming said again, actually, under normal circumstances, I don't want to do this kind of thing. It is thankless and not very interesting, but it seems that everyone is a small partner who grew up in the orphanage before. I really can't bear to watch them continue to suffer from poverty, so if I can help, I should. Zhao Zhou hurriedly blurted out, Brother Zhongming, you don't need to worry about other things, you just push all those loan apps to me, I will take the loan immediately, and then we will give it to you in a unified way. Charlie, who has not spoken, looked at Zhongming at this time and asked with interest, Zhongming, you just said that you work for a company under the White family, but as far as I know, it seems that the White family has not done any fund business. Zhongming's face changed slightly, and he blurted out, Charlie, it's not that I despise you. The White family is big and has a wide range of business. There is no money that people don't transfer. Do you know a shit? Charlie didn't get angry either, and asked with a smile, then what's your company name? Zhang Ming blurted out, my company is called Harley Insurance Fund Investment and Wealth Management Company. With that said, Zhang Ming immediately took out his business card. In addition to his company's name, Zhang Ming's position was printed on it, Investment Director. Charlie feels that this Harley Insurance Fund invests in a wealth management company. How it sounds familiar. After thinking about it carefully, he remembered, isn't this the company that lied to his mother-in-law? The boss of this company is Harley Joe, and the backer is Orville. Harley Joe's deceitful deceit and investment in his company's money are all in vain. It is useless for investors who have suffered huge losses to make troubles, because with the support of Orville, no one can help Harley Joe. Unexpectedly, this Zhang Ming actually belonged to Harley Joe Company. The last time he went to help mother-in-law to collect debts, he didn't meet him. If he had seen him at that time, then he must have been humble when he saw him today. Thinking of this, he looked at Zhang Ming with interest, and asked curiously, the boss of your company is called Harley Joe, right? He doesn't seem to belong to the White family. Are you talking nonsense? Zhang Ming didn't expect Charlie to know his company and the name of his boss, so he immediately became nervous. If Charlie knows his company, then it proves that he knows what his company does. He also knows that what he said to Zhao Zhou now was a lie to him. Just when Zhang Ming was nervous and didn't know how to explain, Zhao Zhou looked at Charlie angrily and reprimanded, Charlie, what do you mean by this person? Brother Zhang Ming showed kindness and wanted us to earn some money. What are you questioning here? Do you feel that if Brother Zhang Ming doesn't take you to make money, you are upset? Charlie looked at Zhao Zhou in surprise, and couldn't help but sneer from the bottom of his heart. This kind of smelly rug is really helpless. He has no educational level and no ability to judge right from wrong. He kindly wanted to pull him in front of the fire pit. He turned away from hand and tried to jump down. If this is the case, do it. So he immediately said to Zhang Ming, maybe I remembered it wrong, sorry. Charlie was never a bad person. Sometimes he would look at other people pitifully and want to pull them off. But the premise is that the other party must know good and bad. If the other party doesn't know good or bad, he will never use a hot face to stick someone's cold. Some people are stubborn, it is better to let them taste the price. Anyway, he did it himself, and he will fall into the fire pit in the future and burn to death without complaining. So he deliberately changed the topic, and immediately said, if you want to manage money, just go back and chat in a group privately. We are here to invite Aunt Lena for dinner. We haven't ordered any food for a long time. Zhang Ming immediately came over with interest and smiled and said, come here, give Aunt Lena the menu, and Aunt Lena can order it. Aunt Lena hurriedly waved her hand and said, no, I've never been to such a good place. I don't know how to order any dishes, so you young people should order it. Zhang Ming took over the menu without letting it go, and said with a smile, I'll order it then. Then he immediately recruited a waiter and said, come on, I'm ordering. The waiter also came, and Zhang Ming immediately started ordering, but he was very scheming this time, ordering only expensive dishes. As soon as he came up, he ordered a premium abalone for everyone. This dish cost 1,888 per person. Zhao Zhou caught a glimpse of the menu and exclaimed, "Oh, brother Zhongming, this dish is too expensive. Just order this dish and it costs more than 20,000. We can't afford it. Get it off." Because Zhongming's proposal for this meal is that he pays half of the money, and the rest of the money is paid to the Dutch system, which means that everyone has to pay, but his proposal is a little less than what he said before. But once the meal is too expensive, even if Zhongming pays half of it himself, the remaining half is a very heavy burden for others. Zhongming looked at Zhao Zhou with disgust at this time, and said, "No wonder your mother-in-law in the future will bite the bridegroom and not let go. Just like you will be so scared when you come out for a meal. Your mother-in-law must be more important. Bridegroom, lest her daughter be wronged in the future. What if you are so scared that you don't even dare to order food if this meal is for your future mother-in-law? What do people think of you?" Zhao Zhou looked a little embarrassed, and said depressed, "Brother Zhongming, I don't have money with me. To be honest, I'm now living on 100 a week in order to save money. I drink cold water and eat steamed buns in the company dormitory every day. I can't bear to buy an electric kettle," Zhongming said coldly. "No wonder you are poor. With your mentality and your consumption philosophy, you can't make money. Who is poor if you are not poor?" After a pause, Zhongming said again, "What is money? Money has to be spent before it is earned. What is it if it is not spent? It is paper in the wallet and numbers in the bank. Besides, I have already agreed. I will arrange you money. If you can't bear to pay for this little meal, then I won't pay you as a friend. I'm sorry." When Zhao Zhou heard this, he immediately closed his mouth with interest. He has regarded Zhongming as his life-saving straw, so he can't disobey Zhongming anyway. Otherwise, there is no hope in life. Others also felt that Zhongming's ordering was too extravagant, but after listening to Zhao Zhou's remarks, everyone was embarrassed to speak again. They all feel that after all, people pay half by themselves, and there are so many people who pay the other half. If everyone is still called poor, they will not be able to save face. At this time, Zhongming said to the waiter again, "Bring us a lobster weighing 5 pounds. The waiter nodded and said, "Sir, our premium lobster here is 688 a kilogram, is that okay?" Zhongming waved his hand indifferently, and said, "Yes, of course you can. If you can't, just give it to me." After speaking, he said, "Oh yes, that ace of spades champagne, give 2 bottles." The waiter opened his mouth and said, "Sir, a bottle of champagne of spades is 18,888. It is non-refundable for opening the bottle, okay?" Zhongming said immediately, "Yes. Hurry up and bring it first." Hearing that he ordered 2 bottles of wine worth 18,888 at once, everyone immediately couldn't sit still. After doing so, the meal has already cost more than 60,000. Even if everyone pays the other half, at least 30,000 this year? If the Dutch system is used, then everyone has to pay at least more than 2,000. Zhao Hao suddenly said with some embarrassment, "Zhongming, we don't have to be so extravagant to eat. Today, we invited Aunt Lena to eat, and received the dust for Aunt Lena. Aunt Lena has just recovered from illness and must not be able to drink. You order these 2 bottles. What does wine mean? Zhang Ming said contemptuously, Zhao Hao, I just look down on you for being so poor, just eating a meal, are you afraid of being a feather? After finishing talking, he didn't wait for Zhao Hao to speak, and immediately said to the waiter, bring us another big grouper, 1 shark fin in abalone sauce for each. Zhang Ming just hopes to have more, so that he can earn more. Everyone else was a little worried, thinking that the meal was spread out and everyone had to pay too much. But everyone is embarrassed to tear their faces, and no one is embarrassed to say that they will not eat this meal at this time. After all, Aunt Lena is still here. Aunt Lena couldn't sit still at this time. She said nervously, Zhang Ming, we really don't have to be so extravagant for our meals, and your things are too expensive. I am serious. Shaking, can we order cheap dishes? Home cooking. Zhang Ming is now unwilling to let go of any opportunity for money, so naturally he can't willingly eat only a few thousand for this meal, otherwise he can't make any difference. So he hurriedly said, Aunt Lena, today you will just cook and eat. We have the rest. We were raised by you. Your kindness to us is heavier than anything. How about spending some money to invite you to eat? Even if I spend 30,000, 40,000, or 50,000 today, I agree that I will spend it willingly. After speaking, he deliberately looked around, watching everyone's expressions. What he said just now was actually moral kidnapping. The subtext is already very clear. Why? Aunt Lena is so kind to them, raised them, and inviting her to eat dinner, they are not willing to spend. Is this possible? Sure enough, as soon as he said this, everyone did not dare to express any dissatisfaction or opposition. Everyone has already thought about it in their hearts. Since Aunt Lena is invited to dinner, let's have some blood. Charlie suddenly felt something was wrong. Judging from Zhang Ming deliberately crashing the car in order not to honor his bet, he knew that this person was definitely not a generous person, and definitely a villain. So why is a not-so-generous little person so generous when ordering food? Could it be that more orders for this meal are good for him? However, since Zhang Ming said that he had to bear half of the meal, he should not be the restaurant's support. Then there is only another possibility left, Zhang Ming can reimburse the meal. It turns out that this Zhang Ming has counted everyone in. If this is the case, then he might as well give him a general plan. Thinking of this, Charlie said, everyone, let's go. For today's meal, Zhang Ming and I are 1.5, and the others don't need to pay a penny. Even if this meal costs 200,000, it will be the 2 of us. When Zhang Ming heard this, he immediately smiled sarcastically, oh, Charlie, you can do it, brag, don't even type the draft. Charlie smiled faintly, and said, what's so bragging about? If you don't believe me, let's pay 100,000 in advance, and we will eat 200,000 tonight. What do you think? After listening to Zhang Ming, he said excitedly, is this true? Charlie directly took out his mobile phone, opened Alipay, and said to the waiter, come, scan the QR code to pay. Seeing this, Zhang Ming was about to jump up with excitement. What he wants is to eat more meals, and then he can get more price difference when reimburse myself, but the friends of this group of welfare institutions are really too suspicious. They have been chatting there and don't know how annoying it is. Charlie is now willing to involve, and pay 100,000 at a time. Isn't this clear to give him money? He also pays 100,000, but he can open an invoice for 200,000. After he goes back, he will tell the boss that this meal is for a super customer. It is possible to negotiate a sale of 10 million. The boss will definitely wave his hand. He has figured it out now, life is the most important thing. First lied these two friends who wanted to make money with them, and then returned to the company, reported the 200,000, and solved Ma Zongliang's problem. As for whether the boss will settle accounts after autumn, it is time to consider this. After all, Ma Zhongliang is the biggest threat to him now. So he hurriedly took out his mobile phone and said to Charlie, "Well, since you are so refreshing, then I will also pay 100,000. Aunt Lena wanted to dissuade the two of them, but Charlie waved his hand at him to signal her not to worry. For Charlie, whether it costs 100,000 or 200,000 for a meal, it is just a drizzle. What he wants to do is not let Zhang Ming succeed. At this time, the waiter took the POS machine and used the function of scanning the code to pay, and each swiped 100,000 from the two Alipays. After confirming that the 200,000 has arrived, Zhang Ming said with a smile, "In this case, let's order more good ones. Waiter, give us all the good wine, good food, and good seafood you have here, just take photos. With 200,000, what I want is to spend all of the 200,000 today, without a single point left." The waiter did not expect to meet such a wealthy table today, and immediately said with a smile, "Don't worry, I will make arrangements to bring you the wine first." When they heard that they were about to enjoy a meal of 200,000, many of the friends at the same table were excited and unbearable. Especially that Zhao Zhou, who just looked bitter melon, is so happy that his mouth is almost open to the root of his ears. He was worried just now because he didn't want to spend more, but now seeing the 200,000 meal, someone has already paid for it, and he hasn't paid a penny. He is so excited that he can't wait to go to the bathroom and release everything he has eaten before. This way empty his stomach and wait to eat the next good things. Many rags have this kind of mentality. If he spends his own money to do something, he may be more uncomfortable than being beaten, but if he does not need to spend money on this matter, or if someone else spends money, he runs away. Faster than anyone, laugh happier than anyone. To put it bluntly, it is the king of prostitutes. Soon, the waiter brought lobster, abalone, and other delicacies from the mountains and seas, and even a whole roasted suckling pig, tender on the outside and tender on the inside, exuding an incomparable aroma. Zhao Zhou frantically ate all kinds of good things, while holding a glass of wine, pouring into his mouth desperately. For nearly 20,000 a bottle of champagne, he hadn't even smelled it in his life, let alone drank it, so with this kind of good opportunity, he decided to drink enough. At this time, Zhang Ming's dog-legged Ronald, while eating roast suckling pig, said flatly, "How do I feel that I have become the richest man in the city, that good brother, where we are now." This scene is almost the same as the scene in the movie where they eat and drink in the hotel. As soon as the words came out, they immediately resonated with other people, and everyone nodded and laughed. "Yes, that's right, that's a bit of a meaning." Ronald smiled again and said, it's all thanks to brother Zhongming. Thank you, brother Zhongming. Xiao Fen said indignantly, why should you only thank Zhongming? Brother Charlie also paid half of the money for this meal, okay. Ronald said disdainfully, I ate the half of brother Zhongming and you ate the half of Charlie, so you thank him, it has nothing to do with me. At this time, Zhao Zhou, who was eating with a mouthful of oily mouth, just took time out and reacted to the topic that everyone just talked about. He was still chewing on all kinds of meat and asked vaguely, by the way, what were you talking about just now? The richest man in city? Why don't I understand? Zhao Hao frowned and asked, the movie. The richest man in Hong City, the one played by Shen Teng, was shown in theaters some time ago and the box office was so hot. Didn't you watch it? Movie theater. Zhao Zhou immediately said contemptuously, I don't go to the cinema to watch movies, so why make me spend money to watch the movies they make? Are these people not crazy about money? It's about the same if you show them all for free. I always go to the internet and beg others for resources, and when I go back tonight, I beg for a resource to watch this movie. Stupid. Zhao Hao said coldly, Zhao Zhou, you are too much to take advantage, right? People invest hundreds of millions in making a movie, and there are so many directors, cameras, dramatists, and actors. If the hard work they put in for a long time is free for people like you, who will make movies? The film and television company will not lose money. Zhao Zhou heard Zhao Hao choking himself, and said disdainfully, Shosh and give me this set, I just don't have enough advantage, I just like not to waste money, even if they want money, I won't give it. What's the matter? Can't it be? I not only don't pay him, but I also go to scold him online, scold him for bad filming, scold him for bad acting, scold him for filming too slowly, can you handle it? What a dog taking a mouse! Zhao Hao said angrily, you still curse after taking advantage of it? You are so shameless, you are not afraid of retribution if you say such things. Zhao Zhou curled his lips, what's the retribution? Anyway, I am an orphan, who am I afraid of? Am I afraid of death? Zhao Hao was choked and speechless. When a person is shameless to this point, saying anything is useless. So he didn't bother to continue to be honest with such people. Charlie sighed straight as he watched from the side. Some people can climb up and become masters step by step, even if they are from a humble background, but some people will become rags and the bottom of the society. Just like Zhao Zhou, he became a pauper for no reason. Disrespect others, do not respect oneself, only thinking about making money and taking advantage in their minds, this kind of people often suffer a lot. After guessing this meal, he will desperately kneel and lick Zhongming. And Zhongming would not hesitate to squeeze all the surplus value from him. By that time, he might not even cry. But it's not that he didn't want to give him a hand. The point is that this person is not at all good or bad, and he has no self-knowledge until now. This made Charlie couldn't wait to see what would happen to Zhao Zhou's end. When everyone was enjoying a 200,000 meal, Charlie went to the front desk and said to the front desk clerk, "Hello, I am a guest at table 03 in the lobby, please give me an invoice." The waiter hurriedly asked respectfully, "Hello, sir, is it the table with 200,000 consumption?" "Yes." Charlie nodded. The waiter asked again, "Do you issue a company or personal invoice?" Charlie said, "Let's start a man." "Okay, sir, would you please leave your name?" Charlie nodded and said, "The leaves of leaves, the stars of stars." The waiter hurriedly manipulated the computer, and then put the invoice into the invoice printer. With a sizzling sound, a catering invoice with Charlie's name and the amount of 200,000 was printed out. Charlie got the invoice and checked it. After confirming that there was no problem with the invoice, he thanked the waiter and turned back. At the same time, he sneered in his heart, "Zhang, you must have never thought that I would act first, right?" Then he returned to the dinner table and continued to eat with everyone. Claire on the side asked him in a low voice, "Charlie, tell me the truth, are you holding back some bad eyes?" Charlie said, "No, I'm such a good person, what kind of bad eyes can I hold back?" Claire lowered his voice and said, "I always feel that your meal seems to be calculating." Zhang. Charlie nodded and smiled, "Good wife, you are right." Claire chuckled and nodded, "This kind of person is really annoying, I support you." Charlie smiled, "Really my good wife?" Claire's face blushed, and her heart was shy. After 3 rounds of wine, Zhang stood up dizzy and said, "I'll go to the bathroom, you continue to drink, everyone drink more, that Mao Tai must not be left. And that champagne, this is 20,000 per bottle." When Zhao Zhou saw this, he hurriedly stood up and said flatly, "Brother Zhang, I will help you to the bathroom." After speaking, he stood up and held Zhang with his brazen support. Zhang waved his hand and said with a smile, "I haven't drunk too much, so I drank much." Zhao Zhou said shyly, "Then I will go with you too." On the way to the bathroom, Zhao Zhou smiled and said, "Brother Zhang, I secretly finished the loan apps that you let me make." "Don't say it." Not only does the hotel's Wi-Fi have no password, the internet speed is also very fast. It is much faster than the internet break in my company dormitory. It feels like a big bargain. Zhang looked at him contemptuously, knowing in his heart that this Zhao Zhou was more shameless than himself, and countless times more than himself. However, it is precisely because he loves to take advantage of him so much that he has the opportunity to engage him. So he said to Zhao Zhou, "In this way, you first register all these apps and fill in your personal information, and then you start to borrow from them. You can directly borrow according to the highest amount and how much you can borrow. After taking it out, transfer the money to my card, and then I will help you operate the fund. A week later, I will call you to collect the income and principal." Zhao Zhou hurriedly nodded and complimented, "Brother Zhang, you are so interesting. I am really fortunate to know a friend like you. It seems that following you, my marriage will definitely come soon." Zhang said, "Hurry up and get the money out first. I will soon operate a new fund. If you don't get the money out quickly, you won't be able to catch this train. Don't blame me in the future." Zhao Zhou immediately said, "Brother Zhang, I have seen it on the app just now. They requested that the front and back of the ID card should be uploaded first. My ID card is not here, it is in the dormitory. Don't worry, it will be the first one after I go back. The thing is to upload ID card information so that the loan can be made." "Okay, Zhang Ming nodded, and while relieved, said, "You must do this as soon as possible. Don't miss a good opportunity. I will show you a clear way to make you more money." As soon as Zhao Zhou heard this, he shook with excitement, and accidentally peed his hand, but he didn't care about it, so he wiped the trouser leg quickly, turned his face and asked Zhang Ming next to him, "Brother Zhang Ming, what is Ming Wei?" "Brother, beg for advice." Zhang Ming said, "It's very simple, if you can make up 600,000 for me, I can help you earn 600,000 a week. If you can find someone to borrow 1 million more, I can help you earn 1 million more. When you borrow 1 million, you can promise others 200,000 in interest, and others will be very interested. In this way, you can make a net profit of 800,000 in interest difference. Wouldn't it make you happy? Don't talk about the 300,000 gift at that time, even a down payment for a 3-bedroom apartment is enough." When Zhao Zhou heard this, he was suddenly excited. However, he didn't know for a while where he should borrow so much money. After all, he is an orphan with no relatives and no reason. Who would want to lend him so much money? Seeing that he was a little worried, Zhang Ming knew that he must be considering this issue, so he deliberately gave him an idea, saying, "In fact, you can go to your girlfriend and tell your girlfriend that you have the inside story to make money. The news, as long as you invest 1 million, you can earn 200,000 interest in a week. Let her ask her mother, your future mother-in-law, if she has interest. If your future mother-in-law is interested, she will not only give you 1 million, but also when she gets 200,000 interest, she will feel that your future son-in-law is very good and very capable. In this way, you not only earn an interest margin of 800,000, but also win the favor of your future mother-in-law, killing 2 birds with 1 stone." Zhao Zhou immediately became excited. He has been looked down upon by his future mother-in-law, and now he finally has a chance to exhale. So he immediately said, "Brother Zhang Ming, don't worry. After I go back tonight, I will call my girlfriend to make it clear." Zhang Ming nodded, put on his pants, didn't even wash his hands, and said to Zhao Zhou, "I'll go to the front desk, you go back first." Zhao Zhou didn't wash his hands either. He hurried over and asked with concern, "Brother Zhang Ming, what are you going to do at the front desk? Hasn't the account been settled in advance?" Zhang Ming said impatiently, "I have something wrong, you can go back, don't worry about me." Zhao Zhou nodded immediately, and said respectfully, "That's okay, Brother Zhang Ming, I'll go back first. To be honest, that champagne is really good, I haven't had enough, hee hee." Zhang Ming hummed a laugh, and thought to himself that he was the rag, and it was a super rag that couldn't take enough advantage of. But he likes this kind of rag without IQ. This kind of rag is really easy to cheat. Immediately, he left the bathroom and walked to the front desk humming a little song. After arriving at the front desk, he took out his business card and handed it to the waiter at the front desk. He said with an expression of force, "The table No. 03 in the lobby is the table that consumed 200,000. Give me an invoice. Follow the company name on my business card." The waiter hurriedly said, "I'm sorry, sir, the invoice for your table has been issued by a gentleman just now." "What?" Zhang Ming felt dizzy and blurted out, "Who opened it?" The waiter said, it was opened by a gentleman named Wade, called Charlie. Should he be with you? When Zhongming heard this, his blood surged. Charlie drove the invoice away, so he couldn't be reimbursed. Doesn't that mean that instead of making money from this meal, he also lost 100,000? Thinking of this, he gritted his teeth and roared, "It's Charlie again!" Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description. Rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.